How Did We Get Here? Starring Mouse and Creep. Episode 1. Gary Busey becomes a predator. Hello everyone, my name is Mouse.
And I'm Creep.
And this is How Did We Get Here? The whole concept behind this is basically that we start with a single concept or topic, then we'll talk for a little while, and then at the end of the conversation, try to figure out how exactly we got to that last topic.
And horribly fail at it.
Horribly fail, terribly. I'm hoping we can't get past, like, maybe 2 levels or something like that.
Yeah, about that. So the whole reason we're kind of doing this is because we work together on a day-to-day basis, and we normally have really long, really dumb conversations. And always at one point, somebody says...
Well, they jump in.
Yeah.
How did you... we want to know. They don't even ask. We want to know how the hell we got to one conversation.
Yeah, and the one that comes to mind most of the time was a lady we work with. We won't say her name. She does this all the time, where she walks into our conversation at the wrong time and wants to know what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, and we try to figure out exactly how the hell we got to that particular moment in time. So, like, we'll start off in the morning. This conversation will start off with, okay, so last night I had dinner, and then sometime somewhere in between that moment and getting to work and that nice lady getting involved in the conversation, we somehow move our way to baby eating.
Or the prudent one that's always we always think about is when I can't remember what we were talking about. That's the whole point of this. But we ended up to the point of she walked into the conversation and was saying, if we taped our dicks together, we'd make a capital H. And she really needed to know what the hell we were talking about, and we don't even know kind of what we were talking about because we were laughing too much.
Yeah, and so we're gonna start, and we've already got a topic, and we'll see where this goes. And
go
now I gotta okay. There needs to be a caveat for this episode that we tried to do this last weekend, but it didn't work out so well. And that's a big problem because I wanted to start this off with the conversation with the topic that we had. And it's totally lost on us now.
Yeah. I don't think we'll bring it up, probably.
Oh, I'm going to bring it up right now. We can't bring it up in conversation.
Yeah, okay. We'll start with that.
It's going to be a setup, yeah. Okay, so I was on 4chan last weekend, and on a what thread, a guy posted a picture of a guy, or maybe it was him, I don't know, with a dildo in his belly button. And it was one of those really long ones. Like, we're talking like 7 inches long, and it was in there because like the base of the dildo, I don't know if you've ever watched porn, but like the base of the dildo, whenever you look at it, it has that like dark, deep ring in the center of it that shows you like how deep it is when all the light's gone. It's really, really deep, or some like light sensory dildos. But he had this thing in his belly button, and it was just like, I'm thinking about it now, and I'm just fucking cringing. It's just, goddamn.
Was it all the way in?
It was all the way in. Like it slipped in past the last knot and was in there happily. Kind of thing. And at the end of it, this is the thing that really, like, apart from the fact that I can't imagine what this thing fucking feels like pressing up against my cunting spine.
Awful?
Yeah.
Let's go with awful.
Yeah, awful. But apart from that, like, I right at the tip, right at the edge of the tip of the dildo, there was this like, it was like if you covered this thing in fake blood and then you sprinkled.
I don't like.
Wait! It wasn't blood, but it just looked like that because of the color of the dildo. It was like this dark purple kind of magenta kind of thing. At the tip of it, it was like someone had sprinkled flour on it, and the flour had absorbed some of the goo. So there was this like crud on the tip of it.
Maybe it was like, you know, when you see the Olympics and they're doing gymnastics. Maybe it was that powder they put on their hands to get rid of the moisture.
Oh, Jesus.
He covered the dildo tip in that. He's like, can't have moisture in my belly button, and then went at her. I still...
No.
I don't want to look at it. I don't want to know it exists. No, we're not looking at it.
No, I'm not looking at that fucking thing. If I wouldn't mind, like, if I'm, like, and I can't see why I wouldn't maybe put this on YouTube, like, have, like, as we're talking about stuff, we put down, like the sources for what the hell we're talking
So
about.
you could skip ahead.
I don't know about like I would suggest that anyone listening to this for the first time
Just randomly.
just
goes.
randomly jump from spot to spot during the recording.
Yeah.
And
you'd be just as informed.
yeah, you'd be just as informed at that moment in time as you were as if you were listening to it from the beginning.
Yeah, pretty much. We don't make a whole lot of sense a lot of the
That's
time.
not the point.
So, what's the fucking thing?
Oh, the topic was the gym on the way home, 50% off,
No, 80%.
80% off.
Enroll.
Enroll, yeah. 80% off. So there's a gym down the street, and I'm guessing they didn't have enough room on the sign to put down the full. They're like, "Are you tired of I don't know, sign up fees or some nonsense like that?
Overcrowded.
Overcrowd dead gyms. Well, sign up today. 80% off Enroll." And I have no idea what the hell Enroll is. Enroll. And it wasn't Enroll because Enroll's got 2 L's in it. So it was just Enroll. So what the hell is Enroll?
Yeah, and we started thinking about what the fuck it would be.
I'm guessing, like...
I assume it's some type of, like... You know when you watch those videos on, like, Discovery of the guy spraying that blue shit onto, like, the mountain and it turns into grass? Like, it's fertilized?
No, what is that?
I don't know what the fuck
I don't watch Discovery Channel.
Oh, it's like this... They have, like... There's hills that are, like, just desert, and they want to put grass on them, and it's desert, so it doesn't grow. So there's, like... They pump this blue shit that is essentially, like, grass seed, water, and fertilizer out of this tube and just coat this desert mountain in this blue shit out of a fire hose.
I wonder if that's...
And then it turns into grass. So I think that's what it would be.
Enroll?
It's not.
Well, why the hell would you buy that shit at a gym?
But that's why I was kidding.
80%. Can't say no to a bargain. No, is that, like... It doesn't really seem like a great idea. Kind of like what's happening right now in... what's just south of us? Past Washington, Oregon. In Oregon, the sand dunes around like Jesse Honeyman, they've got all these big plants growing out of the sand that are destroying the dunes. Like, I think I can't remember. Like, it's been years since I was back in Oregon for Jesse Honeyman State Park, and that's the sand dunes, and they have all of these plants growing up out of the sand dunes. These like weird sharp bushes that whenever you go on like a sand dune tour. Some asshole drives around really fast on the sand because that's their business. They always go by.
Someone for that?
You can either go yourself, and if you get stuck, they pull you out, and that's the end of it.
Or you die.
Or you die. They pull you. There's always guys like driving in a fucking circle up there.
Oh, that's no fun.
Yeah, but if you get stuck, they pull you out because if you stop, your machine sinks into the sand, and then you're done.
Yeah.
So you have to know when to stop and how to stop and where to stop. But if you stop and you sink, they pull you out, take you back, and then you're done. Even if you paid for like an hour, you're done.
That's dumb.
Yeah, because they don't want to keep going up there and pulling you out.
Fucking hate shit like that.
Yeah, but anyway, on
Pay
one of
you
the
full price for something, and I only get 5 minutes of it because you didn't teach me how to do it. Fuck you.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like what's going on with you at work and not knowing how the fuck to use the system.
Yeah.
Nobody's fucking teaching you how to do the system.
No one teaches me how to do anything at my work job.
Yeah, well, shifting gears back to the plants. These plants are growing there, and I think, do not quote me, I think the last time I went on a tour for that place, they said that the reason that they have those plants is the government, I think, came by to try to control the size of the dunes.
Damn government.
The fucking government ruining my fucking dunes. Doesn't anybody give a shit about sand anymore?
Need that
But
shit
what
to
happened
make
was,
windows.
But what happened was is that these plants grew in abundance, and the roots are like 9 feet deep, and so in order to get these things out, you have to dig deep down, and you know you can't fucking dig in sand; it keeps going in the hole you're making.
Well, it's half the fun.
Yeah, and they have to pull these things out, but they can't pull them out, and so eventually, I think the dunes are going away because of these fucking plants. So you tried to control them, and you ended up just destroying them entirely. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a little lake that runs.
There's
kind
shit
of
like that all over the world, though.
Yeah,
Like they try to like put like even here when they try to do that chemical that was going to kill all the beetles that were eating the trees.
Oh,
and then they like killed all the grass from it.
Yeah.
It's like now the chipmunk, this little happy guy, can't live here anymore.
I remember this. I was back in my old house because of that. And when they went to spray, it was a moth, wasn't it?
They always...
No, sorry. There was a beetle that ate bark and killed trees. And then there was a special moth that was after that, I'm pretty sure.
Mothra.
Yeah, with Mothra babies. She drops wings and shoots tomatoes. But what happened was I'm laying in bed, and I was working on the afternoon shift at that time, so I sleep until like noon. But the thing was is that it was like a Friday into Saturday. They did it like a Saturday morning. And so Saturday morning, I have just gone to sleep like 2 hours ago because I'm on the afternoon shift.
Yeah.
And I'm laying in bed, and I wake up because my room just starts to fucking shake because this fucking helicopter is going back and forth in the sky, spraying this shit down on everything, and it smells a little funny too. But I get up in the morning and I go outside, and like the railing down from the house is all sticky, and the top of my car is sticky as well with this. I don't know, but it was it fell in droplets because it's a spray. They're spraying. Yeah. It comes down in droplets, but it didn't flatten out. It just stayed in droplets, and then it like kind of hardened and froze in droplets. Like, it didn't freeze, but it's kind of like a gel at that point.
You sure they didn't just fuck up and spray your house?
I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure that house down there is
there
full
were
of
stories.
moths.
There were stories in the newspaper of like there was this one woman, and it's always a woman, who was complaining about how she was. Yeah, they're the only ones that call. Who was walking out of like a Walmart or something like that, or she was like going outside of her house, and she felt it spray on the back of her neck. So she had to stop what she was doing, go back inside, call that she was going to be late for work, and have a shower to wash this shit that everyone had said is perfectly fine to humans under all circumstances. She had to wash this stuff off the back of her neck, so she's late for work, and she blames everyone.
I really like the idea, though, of her calling her, I can't show up, this moth poison's on my neck.
I can't show up, the government just tried to poison me.
And she's late for work, and she goes home and has a shower, and then when she goes into the bathroom, she takes off her face, and she's a moth. The government tried to poison the moth people.
Oh, that's great. Just like did she like take it off by the neck, or like she like unhooks it from like the she's got, like,
it's like the mask from Total Recall. The 2 weeks.
Oh, it just kind of like comes up in like layers like a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Get ready for a big surprise.
God, that was awful. It's better than the new one.
I did not like the new one.
The new one made
I did not like the new one because when it came down to the first Total Recall, there was maybe it was the acting, maybe it was the special effects, but you didn't think for a second that this was in his head. Yeah. Not a moment. You knew for a fact he was a government agent who screwed himself over, had a change of heart, and decided to do the right thing, which was break ice beneath Mars to make air.
You know,
that's how
that's the whole thing is when they get to that point when that doctor guy tries to be like, yo, no, you're in a simulation. You're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's fucking nuts.
I'm pretty sure you're bullshit.
And at the end of the movie when he's like, I hope this isn't a simulation. Like, are you fucking with me right now?
Yeah, there was no second guessing in that movie that it was a simulation. Whereas in the other one, who the hell played Arnold Schwarzenegger's character?
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. Yeah. I can never remember his name when I want to.
I always want to call him Farrell Colin.
I always want to call him Kyle Reese.
Because I always picture him just like really angry and like running into the trash like a raccoon. Just
Colin Farrell and Farrell Colin. Collins are assholes.
Yeah,
most Collins are assholes. But I can't get too far ahead. We got to get back to this.
I just didn't like that movie because it made no sense. Because, like I said, his name is still Dennis Quaid, but nothing is the same. You're in Australia.
They did have.
You're not, a tube that goes apparently through the middle of the Earth. Where if you watch the graphic, the tube goes right through the middle of the Earth. Which means to say
you paid way more attention to that fucking movie than I did. I went and saw it in theaters.
The idea of this is then Great Britain and Australia are on perfect negative sides of the Earth, which is a fucking nut. That's not the way it works.
Maybe they got like 7 or 8
We get in this big... No, it's one giant tube that goes from Great Britain to Australia.
Maybe they fucked up in the math and like they were trying to get somewhere and like...
if they would have just shown the tube at one point...
And why Australia?
Curving. doesn't mean
It's a
supposed to be
fucking
on Mars.
It's a minor landmass. Who cares?
Well, that's where all the poor people lived, and
Yeah,
they worked in Great Britain. But the whole point of this was, it's the same character, and then you change it. Why did you bother? Why it's not a remake if you're going to change everything but the character's name?
Yeah.
Because what's the point of? Oh yeah, that other movie was good. I just kind of like the name though.
Yeah, but like in the Farrell Collin one, there was so much more question as to whether or not it was real, because right at the end of the movie when he's dominated over
Bryan Cranston.
when
Godzilla guy.
When he beat Bryan Cranston at his own fucking game.
You know when Bryan Cranston throws a punch? Because that makes fucking sense. 45-year-old dad Cranston swinging a fist.
45-year-old Bryan Cranston swinging at much younger, but obviously will kick the shit out of you because he's a secret government agent, Farrell Collin. That's a match you're gonna win. But right at the end, like, I really think that it was total bullshit, and that his brain was fried in the second one, just because he's standing there on top of Mount Stupid, and when he's standing on top of the big pile of shit that broke, and then he's got like those sounds going on in his head for him to wake up or something. It's just a simulation. You gotta wake up. But it's a simulation. You totally fucking ruined it now.
That's hitting it too hard.
Yeah, we're supposed to guess. It's like at the end of Inception. We never see...
I never saw that.
Really?
I didn't give a fuck. Everyone hyped it up so much, I didn't give a shit. Anyway.
Okay, quick synopsis. When you go into the dream, he's got a top that when he spins...
I know that part. I've seen that in reviews.
And if it keeps spinning, you're dreaming. And if it falls over, you're awake. And so right at the end of the movie, when the whole point is...
Spoiler alert, by the way, in case you haven't seen a 15-year-old movie or however fuck old it is.
Like, the whole point was for him to get back home to his kids. And so he spins the top on the table, and you've got to watch the movie, because at this one point in time, he spins the top, and his thumb is just, it's kind of like, it's this weird kind of backwards thing that he does with his thumb, like, it like comes up after he's done spinning the top rather than out. It goes like straight up. And I know you're supposed to be focusing on like the top. Is it going to fall over? How is Leonardo DiCaprio responding to this whole situation? And the whole time I'm going, look at his fucking thumb. But anyway, so he goes back to his kids and he spins this thing. He doesn't do the thumb thing that time, strangely enough. But he runs off to his kids and the camera pans down to the top and it just keeps spinning and spinning, and then it wobbles just a little bit, that it goes back to spinning. And the whole thing is he still dreaming or is he awake? That's the question.
Or did he get super good at spinning tops?
Yeah, that's the whole
fucking
question.
Generation Beyblades this
and
shit.
Like, yeah. And so, like, we don't know whether or not he was dreaming or awake, and I'm okay with that. I think he was awake, but...
who cares?
Yeah, who gives a shit? But at the end of Total Recall with Farrell Collin, you don't... at least you assume as much with like an 80%, 80 to 20% that he is in fact melted his brain and gone a little crazy.
But to go back to my point of that, I really hate the fact that they changed it.
Yeah.
They
really should have kept Michael Ironside as far as I'm concerned.
Well, just like...
I love Ironside.
If it was all the same cast, but it was on Mars, and it was the old movie, but with twists, it'd been fine. But you change everything that it was, and all you kept was the guy's name, and then the fucking recall thing. That's all you did. And it's the same problem.
They put him down the poor hole. Like, that's what it's called. It's got this great big orange sign. It's like a big slide that they go down to Australia. The poor hole.
But it's the same problem I have with a lot of movies that do
it's
that.
It's all smelly. What's at the bottom of that tube? Australia. Oh God, I'm not going near that.
It's the same problem I have with, like, when they're saying like they're gonna recast like a certain character, like a superhero, but they're gonna recast him as a new guy. But he's exactly the same. Like,
handphone.
Well, I try not to sound racist. I'm gonna sound racist. It's gonna happen. Go on. But when they're all saying that they want Peter Parker to be black,
he was a Mexican later.
I know, but the thing is, Peter Parker is a white guy. I want a black Spider-Man because I think anyone would be a better fucking actor than anyone they've gotten to play Spider-Man in the past 10 years.
You don't like Garfield.
But as soon as his name is Peter Parker, it ruins it in my head. like Green Lantern. There's a black Green Lantern, a white Green Lantern.
Yep.
There's different species. That's fine.
Species.
Well, there is in the Green Lantern Corps, but doesn't mean is. If they would have went, this is like Spider-Man. Was it 2169 or whatever?
2099.
That's a black kid.
I love that guy.
And that's a great thing.
Oh, he's so cool.
I love it.
He's such a sick
But
Spider-Man.
if they would have just done that, but to go like, let's make the next Spider-Man movie. Nah, I'm good. He offered me water, if you're wondering. But if like, you have Peter Parker in every way, but it's played by a black guy. It's not that I don't want a black guy to play it, because I do.
You want a black guy to play the right
But
one.
I want him to be a new elder character, because that's the equivalent of me playing Richard Pryor in his biography. I'm the whitest person alive.
Yeah.
I'm fucking white toast with mayonnaise on it.
Milk toast.
Milk toast. But it's just weird to me to be like, yeah, we're gonna do everything the same except for change the thing that makes it the thing.
Yeah, if they were gonna do a Spider-Man 2099 movie, I'd love that.
I would kickstart
I'd kickstart that shit. Yeah, because I don't really care about New York Spider-Man.
I don't care about Peter Parker. He's a fucking annoying.
I don't care.
So
I don't give a shit about Peter Parker. But
I take pictures and make money.
I don't. Well, here's the thing. I don't give a damn about Spider-Man. Spider-Man can go to hell as far as I'm concerned. It's everything in the Spider-Man universe that I enjoy. I love Green Lantern. Green Lantern. I love Green Lantern. I love
Green Lantern. Spider-Man were hanging out in that
when Green
alternate
Lantern
dimension
was
that
going
exploded
around
because they're from different galaxies.
He was going around on his glider throwing pumpkin bombs. Out am I? But I love
William Dafoe is Green Lantern.
William Dafoe is Green Lantern. Yeah. Oh, that'd be sick. Anyway, we should just recast the Avengers. Every character is played by William Dafoe. Even fucking hell, Black Widow.
Yeah, well, Boondock Saints. He is a good redhead.
He does a great redhead.
But that's like the idea. For you who've never seen League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, that's a pile of horse shit.
That is garbage.
It's garbage. And it actually made Sean Connery one of the greatest actors of all time. Debatable. He's a good actor, but he only has one voice.
He's fun.
You know, Russian submarine commander from Scotland. Anyway,
we have to make sure that the plan stays solid for the motherland.
We were talking about recasting, like redo the exact same movie in every way, but have every character played by Sean Connery.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think infinitely it'd be a better movie.
I would love to see my favorite moment of that movie, and it's a real shame because that movie had such awesome potential for really cool things to happen, and a couple of cool things did happen. Yeah, like Nemo. Nemo was awesome, but I actually didn't give a shit about Nemo. I didn't know anything about Nemo until I saw that movie.
Well, that was all made up. But I like his ship, his guns.
We call it an automobile.
He looks fucking awesome. Like nothing's cooler than like a turban that matches your outfit. That's pretty fucking hype.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. But when Mina, was it Mina?
I don't fucking know.
Whatever the hell the girl's name was.
In my mind, it's Sean Connery.
When she had finished, when she turned around and drained that guy of blood, and then she's like, just running her hands all over her face, trying to get it all into her mouth. That was one of the fucking coolest scenes. Like, how starved were you to get that blood that when you finally get it, you essentially just joygasm right there on the spot. I would, if I had the funds, I would pay Sean Connery to drain that guy of blood, and then, oh yes, and just like try to put off
better than Guinness. I would have liked to seen him have done the scene where they catch Mr. Hyde. You've done great crimes against England. I know.
Home is where the heart is, they say.
It's just a big giant CGI Sean Connery.
And he's all wrinkled and has like those like old man gray hairs on his shoulders, kind of thing.
Like a wig of gray hairs.
He looks like a Alucard from Castlevania if he let himself go.
Just God, I haven't eaten in a while.
Like even would you make like even the bad guys of that movie?
Oh yeah, all the henchmen are Sean Connery.
Oh, I'd love to see that then when that one guy who drinks the whole bottle, even though he doesn't drink the whole bottle, he kind of just pours it into his mouth and has it run down.
Don't drink the whole bottle. It's okay. He drank like an ounce and threw the rest on his teeth.
It's like he's like pouring it into his face. Yeah. And then he turns into the huge red Sean Connery.
Sean Connery off.
Who is that? It's me on a bad day.
I'm gonna start hitting my wife.
Take your time. I am taking my time, Dad. Oh, that'd be fucking great.
Yeah.
No, going back to Total Recall. We've got to get off this fucking Total Recall thing.
Why do you keep talking about it?
There were points I wanted to make. Like, there's no quip. There's no quips in the movie. Like, it was great.
There's no Quado, which is ruined.
There's no Quado. Yeah. Like, I loved it when that girl reaches down and grabs Arnold by the dick. And she goes, "What have you been feeding this thing?" And he goes, "Blondes." Like, that was great. That's an Arnold line. They didn't give Farrell Colin any lines like that. Nothing.
Well, they don't do that anymore.
The girl with the 3 tits was passed by. She was a side note.
They don't do that anymore. They don't do quips. They don't do quotes. They don't do jokes in any way. An action hero now is just a serious guy who looks really angry all the time, and the most he'll ever do is a joke that is not even funny. And you go, ha, and you think in your head, I laughed because I was supposed to, not because I found enjoyment from that.
They were able to control me.
Like
it's the Illuminati.
Like Commando, another Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's not the greatest movie in any way.
No, it's not.
But the lines in that movie are worth the price of admission. Like when Bill Duke, the black guy from Predator, he's also in that.
Yep.
And when he goes to the hotel room to confront Bill Duke, and they're fighting, and he throws him through the wall, and Bill Duke gets up,
and the two guys
and he goes,
fighting.
"I'm a Green Beret," and Arnold Schwarzenegger looks him in the eyes with so much he sells it.
Face.
He sells it. I eat Green Berets for breakfast, and right now I'm really hungry. And he throws him through a wall. Like, that line is great. That's worth $1 million.
That was a great impression.
It just throws the pipe through the guy and says, "Cool off."
Stick around. Let off some steam, Bennett.
Like, that shit is amazing. And Bruce Willis used to do that in movies, and they just don't do that anymore because that ruins it to me. Like, when you watch an action movie now, there's a lot of ones that are made with Steven Seagal. He made 5 movies this year so far.
No shit.
Yeah,
I haven't
5.
seen any of them.
It looks really weird.
I didn't even know
he has a
5.
goatee.
Oh.
But in them, he says those lines, but he says it with such a lethargic, I need to go take a nap. It's not even funny. I can't think of any off the top of my head. But there's a lot of that, there's no jokes. It's I'm so tough and cool. It's yeah, and you're not remotely relatable. I don't care. I don't Jay Courtney.
He's fat now, isn't he?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Jay Courtney's the same way, where every action movie he's in, he's super serious, and he wants to be, I'm super tough. But there's never a point where you're oh yeah, he's relatable. It's well, he's more handsome and stronger than me. I guess I'll masturbate or something.
No, I remember there was a back before Dennis Miller went crazy, and became all patriotic. What the fuck was that show called? What was that show called of his where the dominoes fell down at the beginning and he's just there in the suit at the end?
I don't know who Dennis Miller is.
I think it was just Dennis Miller Live, I think it was. Oh, you don't know who Dennis Miller is? It's kind of best that way now.
Yeah, okay, I know who he is.
But
he's that weird looking dude.
Yeah, he yeah.
In my mind, that's
like Baldo.
Well, I looked at him in my mind once you said Dennis Miller the 5th time. I was like, what does he look like?
He's like a ferret that never got cut. That his hair never got cut.
He kind of looks like Albert Einstein when he was really young.
Yes, he does. Oh my god. But they had Robin Williams on, which was a big mistake considering Robin can't keep his fucking mouth shut for 10 seconds. But thank you. But they had Robin Williams on. They were talking about Steven Seagal. I was I need to do this. I need to jump through this building because Steven Seagal can't do it because he's wearing the fucking couch.
Steven Seagal has one of my favorite moments. I have the movie. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But it's one of my favorite moments where there's a huge continuity problem. And it's great. It's the whole movie, I think it was only like 2014 or something. I don't even remember what the name of it is. There's like 100 Steven Seagal movies, and I know a lot of them. But essentially, the beginning of it is there's zombie vampire things.
I'm already out.
I know, but they're like vampires, but they can't control it. You know what I mean? Like they're infected vampires.
Okay,
of some sort.
so they're rabid vampires.
But it's like Steven Seagal and this team of guys. If anyone knows what this is, when we put this up, please let me fucking know, because I cannot find it. I just moved and everything's in storage and moved around. But so it's
remember
like
Sean Connery in leather.
So it's this movie where he's like walking around. The beginning of it, it's just like it's this team of younger people who are doing like this karate and kicking ass, and Steven Seagal is wearing like obviously what Steven Seagal wears every
Jeans
day.
And a leather black jacket.
Leather black jacket goes past his knees, and he has like this huge weird like machete sword on his back. And it's just like him like lethargically when like monsters come up to nope and just cuts them in half. But the last scene of that movie is there's this like old Asian woman, and I don't know if she's supposed to be old, but she's at least 45. I think she's supposed to be like a young hot girl, but she's not. Like it's like Steven Seagal was like, I want that young hot girl. Like, yeah, she's like not pretty in any way, and like, no, I want her. So they went with her. But during the fight scene,
she's like Anna from Overwatch if we microwaved her.
So Steven Seagal is like an Aikido master, and he has some other shit. And he's a martial arts master. So they need to have like stunt people who can, I guess, keep up with him. And this woman who they casted couldn't. So randomly they splice in a woman who's like the stunt woman that he's fighting. But the thing is, the woman is about half a foot taller than her, white, slightly lighter hair, and she's not wearing the same clothes.
Thank God it was a Steven Seagal movie.
Like, her clothes are different. So it's like, they're punching, when obviously, like, Steven Seagal's, like, miss-punching, and then when it cuts to her punching him, it's just like, that's a different person altogether! And there gets to a point where Steven Seagal is supposed to, like, throw her through a brick wall to show that Steven Seagal is stronger than a vampire, apparently. So he's supposed to throw her through a wall, but the wall is obviously like styrofoam blocks, like not even tried.
When he threw her through the wall, did like the outline of the wall like do that thing like Ricky O kind of thing where like on the outside there was like obvious like strings or something or like
no.
was white?
It was just like it was only like a brick wall like 4.5 feet tall.
What the fuck?
And when he throws it through her, like they didn't speed up the footage when I think they should have, because he doesn't throw her through the wall. She kind of stands by the wall, and he ever so gently just like...
He doesn't push her, does he?
He nudges her towards the wall.
Fucking hell.
Like, it's not like he's grabbing her by the pants and like, bitch, you're going through the wall. He's just like, go through the wall, please. And she's like, oh, God. And she jumps through the wall. It's amazing. Just that scene, just like...
It's a car crash.
Okay, he's supposed to throw her through the wall, and he's just like, hey, just lay on this mat. You're just going to have to go through this wall real quick. Take it easy. It's gently. Dumb. I love those moments.
Do you prefer a Steven Seagal kick or a... Because I know he does like a...
Not anymore, he doesn't. He kind of just stands around.
I'd love to see him do the splits now, or at least try. I used to be able to do it when I was older. But, younger. I used to be able to do the splits when I was older.
Steven Seagal is Benjamin Button. He used to be much older.
Oh God! Steven Seagal looking baby.
Oh
fuck!
He still has the ponytail.
He's all pinch faced and shit right there. But do you prefer a Steven Seagal kick or a Chuck Norris kick?
Chuck Norris kick.
Really?
Yeah, just because the look on their faces at the end is what I judge it by. It's like when Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse kicks people. You're like, oh fuck! Like he actually was like, I kicked your ass. Like he's.
I've never seen Roadhouse. Is it good?
It's all right.
It was a bar, right?
Yeah, and then it like ends up like the evil guy in the town.
You can't tell baby not to dance.
He essentially goes through like wrong. I want those movies to be together.
Yeah,
like he's kicking her down. It's like the end of the movie. He goes and
Dirty Roadhouse.
He fights the corrupted guy and like essentially kills all these people by kicking them into taxidermy. It's a long story, Where was I?
Whoa, no. What?
He kicks a guy into a taxidermy like a reindeer or some shit.
I love that idea. Like,
He
he just goes in and there's just all these mounts of elks along the wall.
There's thousands of them.
Oh my great
It's like a mansion full of taxidermy. There's an
bitch.
elephant he throws the guy onto.
He doesn't get impaled on the tusk.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I would have preferred like he uppercuts him and he flies back and lands on the tusk and he's like at the end of like Tony's yacht.
I think he roundhouse kicks him into it if my memory serves.
Oh, okay. He kind of kicks him. Oh shit! Like he knocks one guy up against one of the tusks and he braces himself. He's like, oh shit! And then he kicks another guy into him and then roundhouse kicks that guy and they both get impaled upon the tusk like all Simpsons.
I know it's been a while, but anyway, when he kicks people in that movie, like the look on his face, like okay, he meant that. When Steven Seagal kicks people, he looks like he's winded. Even when he was in his like prime, like that exact moment when he's finished the kick, he's like, oh, that took a lot of effort. When Chuck Norris does it, he fucking smiles. That's why I prefer Chuck Norris, because when he kicks, he's like, I like kicking people. I like kicking people really hard.
I like kicking people into taxidermy.
But to go back just one step, because I was talking about continuity, because that's one of those things where like, Predator 1 is one of my favorite. I think it's my favorite movie, but there's two continuity problems in that, and they both go around Billy. If you don't remember Billy was the native guy with the shotgun underneath his M16.
Oh yeah,
the native with the huge machete.
I thought you were talking about 2 for a second.
No.
Okay,
there's a whole other problem.
That's a different
ball
game. Yeah,
Predator 1. There's a point where, if you remember, there's that weird like I don't know, it's like a circle of trees that Billy goes into when he's following a blood trail at the beginning before they even know the Predator's around. Mm-hmm. And he goes into the tree, and it's like he moves brush away. And it's like behind him, and he's wearing gloves, like these black military gloves. And he opens...
Like you would expect Billy to wear.
Yeah, he wears them the whole movie.
He's a badass.
He wears them the whole movie until he gets to the point where he's going to fight the Predator, and he gets naked. So he puts his hands into the bush, opens the bush wearing his gloves, and then it cuts to a top-down angle where the bats are all flying out, and he's losing his shit. And while he's fighting the bats, he's not wearing any gloves. He's just barehanded. And then he jumps out of the tree. And Arnold Schwarzenegger like, are you okay, Billy? And Billy stands up and he's wearing gloves again. So it's like, apparently Billy has gloves that when bats are around become invisible.
Well, hang on. I know he had those... I know about the glove thing. When he took out his machine... He is... easily, as far as I'm concerned, the coolest character, maybe Dutch, but the coolest character in Predator 1 is fucking Billy. That's his point. He's supposed to be the coolest guy.
Yeah.
There is such a huge disappointment with Billy.
Yeah.
You don't get to see him go one-on-one with the Predator. You just hear a scream.
Well, that's why in Predators, the Japanese guy, the Yakuza, who takes his shoes off... I didn't see
Predators.
I liked it. It wasn't perfect.
I kind of wanted to see it because Adrian Brody was in it, but the thing is, I always equate him to The Pianist.
Yeah.
And that was a really good movie.
So it wasn't perfect, but there's a point in it where
and
he runs out of ammo and they go to this place. I don't want to spoil it for you, but he gets a samurai sword. He's a Yakuza. He's lost 2 fingers because of his... I think it's like because he snitched for once, so they chopped off his fingers. So he never talks throughout the whole movie at all. And it gets to a point... when he pulls out this sword, and
does he say you're one ugly motherfucker?
No, he's like, they've been doing this for a long time, and he pulls out the sword, and then one of the guys goes, oh, you talk. I didn't know you talked, or something along that lines, and he goes, you should talk more often, and he goes, that's my problem, I talk too much, and he holds up his hand, he's missing 2 fingers, because he lost them.
Okay.
But there's a point where it does the same thing, like, it kind of hits those moments in Predator 1, where he has the samurai sword.
And he's got all of his fingers?
No, he it's not a continuity problem,
okay.
But it's a cool scene.
I was hoping for something.
It's a cool scene, like the same as Billy, where he pulls out the samurai sword and he takes off his shirt and he's gonna fight the Predator. And there's this Predator.
It doesn't pan away again, does it?
No, the Predator pulls out his wrist blade, but he has one big one, like a sword.
Okay. And
they have a sword fight.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's fucking awesome.
Does this end with the Predator breaking his sword?
No.
Oh, thank God.
The end of it is really cool, and I won't spoil it for you. But the last blow of it is fucking awesome.
Did they kill each other?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
he cuts him, and then he takes a step back, and like the Predator hits its knees and falls down and dies. And then he starts trembling, and then he falls down and dies.
Oh, that's cool.
Because they both perfectly cut each other in half.
Oh, that's sick.
But to go back to Predator, there's another point where I think that's when they know the Predator is, and they're walking around. I'm a big gun guy, so not a lot of people are, but this was filmed like supposed to be like 1970s. And back then, when you put a shotgun onto a gun, you needed tools. Like it's not like now where you can have quick release knobs and click it off. There was tools. You had to click it in and you had to tighten down a bolt to put the shotgun underneath his M16. So it's cool. And the bottom plate, you wouldn't keep because you have a shotgun underneath. So there's a point where he's walking around with the shotgun.
With a shotgun on the bottom of a gun?
Well, he has a shotgun underneath his M16. The whole movie.
Oh my god.
It's great. It's called a master key. It's for breaching doors.
Okay.
So you breach the door and then run in with the M16 and kill people. But there's a point where, like I said, you need tools to take this thing off, and you wouldn't keep the bottom handguard, where he's walking with the master key, and then like it cuts away to a different thing and cuts back, and he doesn't have the master key. He just has a normal M16. So it's like, between him walking through this river, he pulled out a tool while walking, undid his shotgun, took it off, and for some reason kept the 12-inch rail covering and put it back on, just so he could pose for a moment. Think about what was going on.
Who is the one who was posing?
Billy. He's holding a shotgun, but it's like he has a different gun. So
Okay.
He's fucked up. And
So
then he walks back and then he puts
it.
it. He's like, well, now that I've done contemplating, I'm gonna go put that shotgun back on.
I gotta ask. Like at the end, when Billy is standing on the log with the and he takes out his machete and he cuts himself on the chest, does he or does he not have his gloves on?
He doesn't.
He doesn't. But
He
did
loses.
did he have? He loses them?
At one point, he like takes off his gloves, and remember, he takes off his vest and throws it into the water and that shit.
Oh yeah. Why did he take his gloves off?
So he can hold his machete better. I
guess.
assume. He also cuts himself to show like there's nothing you could do to me I'm not willing to do to myself.
I really like Billy.
But doesn't mean he's like, just that point is like,
Billy was really
there's
cool.
just random continuity errors with him. Like, I don't think that he had a continuity person.
Well, since we're talking about the continuity of Predator 1.
Okay.
Yeah. Predator 2.
I bring this up when anyone wants to talk about continuity problems in movies. There's a continuity problem that drives me crazy. And I bring it up anytime I can. And
I already know what you're talking about.
Nobody believes me on it. Nobody. I can bring it up right now. I've shown it to people, and you go frame by frame. So, if you haven't seen Predator 2...
Do it. Even though it's a shitty movie,
It's
just
a shitty
do
movie.
it. Just do it.
But Gary Busey's in it.
Paxton gets... Not Paxton. Is it Bill Paxton?
Yeah.
He gets wrecked!
Yeah. So Gary Busey's in it, and he's this government agent who's...
That was back when Busey was kind of sane.
Yes, like 50% sane.
He hadn't gone full Busey yet.
And there's a scene...
He hadn't shed that human shell of his
And I
quite
know
yet.
that someone's going to listen to this and immediately want to go watch it again.
Do
at least
it anyway.
Look up the scene and scrub through it. But this is actually what happens. So if you remember at the end of it, near the end of it, Gary Busey is a government agent trying to capture the Predator. So he has a gun, like this huge refrigerator, essentially, that freezes the Predator. Because they're trying to...
He's got the slime cannon from Ghostbusters 2, only instead of shooting goo, it shoots liquid nitro.
I'm not trying to think in my head.
What is it, though? Is it liquid nitro?
Yeah, it's liquid nitrogen.
You don't just shoot liquid nitrogen at somebody. You take them away for transport. If you drop him, he's gone.
No, actually, because the funniest part is if you actually take liquid nitrogen and throw it at your face, nothing fucking happens.
No, it fizzles.
Yeah.
It boils.
So anyway, there's a point where he's trying to freeze the Predator, and at that point, all the government guys get killed, and you think to yourself, Gary Busey's dead too, because his camera breaks.
Yeah.
So...
And he takes off his armor, doesn't he?
He takes off his helmet, which is where the camera is. So, what's his conning name? Not Danny...
I don't know.
Is it Danny Glover? No.
No, Danny Glover's the black guy who played the main character.
Okay, yeah, Danny Glover. So they're having their fight.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Gary Busey.
They're having their fight, and they're doing that shit. And then there's a point where Gary Busey comes back. Like, he's not dead. He fixed his frozen gun.
He got hit by something, didn't he? Like, did he get stabbed or something?
I think
Or did we think that he died?
Yeah, he was supposed to get speared, but he broke a tube on his gun and his mask fell off.
Yeah.
So he comes back and he jumps up and he's a surprise or whatever the fuck he says in Gary Busey's and he starts freezing the Predator. And this is the part that...
Get out of here!
So he's standing up and they're in a meat packing plant. He's freezing the Predator and taking steps towards him. And the Predator, I don't remember if he jumps back or just like, I'm not
Did
gonna
he fall off or something, or
No, they're on the same level. But anyway, he goes like, I'm not going to get frozen. So he pulls out his smart disc, which is essentially a bladed frisbee.
Do you remember the fucking the visual effects when he pulled out the disc and that those spikes of light came in towards the disc? That never happened in any game, in any
It's actually not even
since.
canon.
No, it's... Then what the fuck's the point?
Yeah, he pulls out his smart disc, which is essentially just a Xena warrior disc, but cooler. It has a brain.
Oh my god, it kind of is.
It has a brain in it. So he throws it, and they're in a slaughter.
Those slow motion cuts were pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be...
I miss 80s.
All you see is Gary
spark.
Busey's legs, and he's standing in between all these hanging dead cows and pigs.
Yeah, you don't actually see his whole body.
And the blade goes through and starts cutting pigs in half, and the pigs are falling. And understandably, the tops of the pigs don't fall because
they're all hanging off something.
They're hanging from hooks. And then it cuts Gary Busey in half, and Gary Busey's legs fall.
And then a whole bunch of blood.
And then a liter of blood.
I think it's a bucket. I'll bet you it was a bucket on something.
Yeah.
And when the legs fell, they kind of just poured the bucket because the way that it splashes, it really makes it seem as though the blood was just waiting.
Yeah, but this thing is Gary Busey's legs fall, and I know what you're thinking is no, they cut away, but you can actually scrub through it, and his legs fall. And then there's a pillar in the way, and the legs fall perfectly behind the pillar. And his upper body, which by the way is carrying a cryo gun, which is the size of, I don't know, like a pelican case.
It's a huge backpack.
And he's carrying a giant backpack that weighs probably 100 pounds.
At least.
It doesn't fall. So the Predator cut Gary Busey in half, and his legs fell off, but the top of him doesn't fall.
So where the hell did it go?
There's 2 seconds to 3 seconds where his legs hit the ground and his body's still there. And that's not the way physics work. So why are his legs falling, but he's still floating there?
I love the idea that he's actually holding on to the back of the pig. And he's just this big fucking creepy smile.
He saw the blade coming. He's like, that's going to take my legs away. And he grabbed onto the pig, and he's like, nope.
Guess we're losing these things. These were really slowing me down.
The blade cuts Gary Busey.
Like that guy from Men in Black, when you take his head off, it just grows back.
He cuts the legs off Gary Busey, just hanging on the meat, and the Predator goes up, and the legs are just there. And
I better go make sure that I killed
Gary Busey. And the Predator just because the Predator claims spines, he just... Where's the top half?
And then the pig slowly rotates in the background. He's just holding on to the pig. Surprise! And he jumps onto the back of the fucking Predator. Just starts to punch him in the fucking mouth.
He bites the Predator.
He bites the Predator in the neck. And then Gary Busey becomes the Predator.
No, the Predator
becomes Gary
the Predator
Busey.
Later on the scene when Danny Glover's chasing him and he looks in the mirror, he takes off his mask and is he's slowly becoming Gary Busey.
After he cut his arm off and he's in the bathroom fixing himself up, he looks down at his arm and he realizes that greenish spots are starting to become hairy and pink. It's what the fuck? And by the end of it, it's just Danny Glover fighting Gary Busey. In the fucking ship.
And then Gary Busey just he has just Gary Busey with dreadlocks and
that'd be sick.
And the spider mouth, and then he just goes back. And he just goes back to the warehouse, puts on his old
He puts on his own clothes. He puts on his old clothes.
And then goes home and just, hi, honey. What happened?
And his wife is Gary Busey.
Gary Busey has been living throughout the centuries by spreading his saliva and host into different species.
It's just some Plague Incorporated bullshit. Name your disease.
Gary Busey was Dracula.
Oh, it's fucking sick. And he's got little Gary Busey running around the house. 4'2" Gary Busey.
Gary Busey was an old man who was dying, and then some CIA guy was walking around, and he bit him, and then he became a CIA guy. Or Gary Busey has a CIA badge now, I guess.
I'm gonna go hunt predators.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, fuck, that's fantastic. Gary Busey is a predator.
But I'm serious. Watch that scene. It's fucking ridiculous.
I really think that when they were... that when they did that, someone was standing on a ladder, behind the pig, and just, and dump. Because it's just, the legs fall, and then the blood drops, fuck, what does it drop like? I remember seeing. Okay, it drops like the marshmallow dropped onto that one guy in Ghostbusters 2. Sorry, Ghostbusters 1.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, when he gets covered in marshmallow, as though somehow that's supposed to be some sort of poetic justice for what happened for what he did to the Ghostbusters and what he was trying to.
Yeah, apparently.
Do. Apparently, getting covered in marshmallow is poetic justice. It's not like he can just go home and have a fucking shower. But it felt like that. It felt like just like a like. It felt like it was in a bucket and somebody poured it out.
Yeah.
Just the way that
it didn't
felt.
even try.
No, it didn't. And it didn't drip and run. Like what they should have done is when the legs fell, she should have like thrown it onto the back of the pig.
Yeah, and the top of him probably should have fallen too.
And it would have run. Did the bottom of the pig fall, or did he just cut Gary Busey in half and there was no pig?
Well, like as the blade's going, it cuts 2 or 3 pigs in half,
beforehand.
and they all fall. And then it hits Gary Busey, and apparently...
And just his legs. Did his legs fall into 2 different pieces?
No.
Okay.
He gets cut at the belt line. Like, I'll show it to you after this, but literally, you can scrub through it, and it hits his belt line, and then his legs fall, the blood falls, and then it cuts away. There's at least 5 seconds while the legs are falling. Then they hit the ground, and there's 3...
The body should have fallen immediately. The body should have fallen with the legs.
Yeah, if anything, the legs should have tilted. The body should have hit the kneecaps, and then it should have just slumped over. But they didn't do it. It's like they were like, the prop guy was like, so I built those legs to cut him in half for the prop thing. Like, well,
what about the upper body?
Where's the top half? He goes, I only asked for legs. And I'm like, well, that's wrong. He's, well, tough shit. That's all I got.
Well, like Predator 2, I'm guessing had I don't know about a large budget, but it had a budget big enough for it to be part of the
large
Predator
budget
franchise.
to shut down an entire street in LA to have a gunfight.
There you go. But I mean, like, I'm guessing it had a bigger budget than, say, Starship Troopers. If you can cut Michael Ironside in half, why can't you cut Gary Busey in half? Maybe it was his decision. I don't know.
Maybe Gary Busey's like, I don't want anyone to see my face.
I don't want anyone to see my dead face because it's no different than my alive face. Just this big angry smile. Okay, when we're reading My Immortal during break, no, we're not going to get into that. But when we're reading My Immortal during break, and she does something like he laughed angrily, I really think that like Gary Busey, and that doesn't make sense. Like that can't happen in real life. Gary Busey can make that happen in real life. Like he can look at you with a smile and be angry with that smile.
Yeah, he has that mouth.
Yeah, he's got a weird face.
It's like that comedian who was talking about his uncle who laughs without smiling.
Bruce.
Yeah, he just stares.
Woo!
Like no emotion at all.
I bet he feels really shitty about that as a comedian. That he can't make his... Like, he knows he's making his uncle laugh, but it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
You look like I'm gonna fall. I ain't gonna fall.
Have you ever watched any of Tom Segura's comedy?
Give me a joke.
He doesn't really do jokes. He does, like, observation. But one of the ones is, he's talking about how much, like, crack for a comedian is meeting other comedians. Because one of those things, like, if you work in a warehouse, you meet people who work in warehouse, obviously.
They all hate their life. They're all suicidal.
Yeah, every one of them. And we can say that.
We can vouch for that shit.
And like when you work in retail, you know people who work in retail. But when you know when you're a comedian, there's very few times apparently where you actually get to hang out with other comedians, unless you're like a group. So he was talking about how he was on a plane and the plane couldn't take off, and he saw that Bruce was on his plane, which he's a much bigger comedian than he is. So he's like,
both literally and physically and career-wise.
I need to go talk to him. So he goes and starts talking to Bruce, and there's a point where they say you can get off the plane to go get food or whatever. We'll allow it. Just keep your boarding pass. And some woman comes up to Bruce and goes, I'm going to get off the plane. Is there anything you want? And he said, candy. She went, like what? Like, like Twizzlers or Twix. Shit like that. So this woman gets off the plane, and Tom Segura asks Bruce, like, oh, is that your secretary? He goes, I've never seen that woman before in my life. So this woman just walks from the back of the plane. It's like, that fat black man probably needs some candy.
He probably wants some candy and he can't pull his big fat ass up. Or better yet, hey, Bruce, you want some candy? You look like a man who needs candy.
Like, I don't know if she was a fan or... Because it's just weird to me.
Yeah.
That someone is like, that fat guy really needs some candy. Like, that's the equivalent of me just walking up to some random guy in the street. Like, you need milk? I'll go get you some milk.
knock, knock, knock. Hey, I'm going to the store. That'd be great. Have neighbors like that. I'm going to the store. You want anything?
See, I kind of have neighbors like that.
Really?
Where I used to live.
Okay.
Because it was in a weird way. I didn't like them.
I know nothing about these people. About any of these people around me. I know nothing. I know that guy's got 2 kids.
I don't know anything about the people around me now in my apartment.
Yeah.
But where I used to live, everyone in the complex, except there's like 30 buildings, and there's maybe 4, including ours, that weren't very, very Christian Filipino people.
Okay.
All of them. Like, they rent out the pool area to have, like, sermon things, and, like, they all know each other.
Well, it's like where Bryce used to live. Everyone around her was Vietnamese Christians.
But the thing is, at first I was like, oh, they're like, these people have, like, religious verses painted on their cars.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah, her.
So I was like, I don't want to get to know these people, because in general, I'm an introvert. I don't like talking to people, because I'm just that way. So, like, they're the nicest people in the fucking world, though. Because I walked outside, and I couldn't find my shoes, so I just did what anyone does. And the garbage can is, like, maybe 100 meters away from my house. I'm just going to walk over the concrete. So, I start walking, and I'm not wearing shoes, and my neighbor sees me while he's washing his car, turns off the hose, drops the hose, and runs over to me and says, no, 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 I'll take this out for you. And I said, I'm a grown man, I can take out my own garbage, but thanks. You're not wearing shoes. I don't want you to hurt your feet.
That was nice of him.
And if someone runs up to you with that level of niceness, I don't know what to do, because I've never gotten that before.
I'm not used to that kind of thing.
Okay, you have a nice time, and like, I didn't know to wash his car for him or not, but he just like threw the garbage out and walked back, and I was still standing.
He saw someone in need and wanted to help. That's
and
very
then
nice.
like I just sit there. He's like, "Go on, go inside, wash your feet," and I'm like, what is going on here? And like, they're the nicest people in the world. It's like, our power went out, and they walked around asking if people wanted candles and shit. And it's just so weird to me.
That sounds great.
Because I grew up in places where it's like, if you talk to your neighbor, there's a good chance one of them is going to throw a crack pipe at you.
Okay.
You were going to get stabbed if you went to your neighbor. Like,
I
excuse me, sir, can you keep the
really
noise
bugs me.
down?
I don't have anywhere near those kinds of cool stories because I've been spending most of my time inside of my house all my life. I've been indoors, and you've actually done some shit. I don't know about getting crack pipes thrown at me.
I have had a crack pipe thrown at me.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That was a great day. Every time I have a story about someone who does crack, it's always magical. I've never met like someone who does crack where it's like they have a story or I'm part of the story where it's just like,
No one has any boring crack stories.
Yeah, well, like I used to live
Why
in this
would
place.
you? Something always
place
happens.
Where we have rapid transit, so we have a thing called the SkyTrain, where I got off the SkyTrain, and the stop I get off is kind of like notorious for the amount of drug addicts.
Yeah. I'd say one more down from where you are is a little more...
Gateway.
Yeah.
I used to live right beside Gateway.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, Gateway. I was going to say Gateway.
Gateway, there's things... My buddy had an apartment, just to deviate, where you could actually watch. The crackheads there are so smart, they know when the cops do their rounds. You can actually watch. Cadillacs and, like, pimped-out cars will pull up. They'll all be selling drugs, and all these people will be doing drugs in this little strip mall. And then you see the cop car coming down from 3 blocks, and everyone just, like, disappears. The cop car drives through the thing. No one's there.
I love the idea that they got like
up,
walkie-talkies or something.
and then he hits the corner, and everyone just kind of like comes out of nowhere. It's magical. So I'm walking past, and it was
like we're talking like the perfect heist kind of thing.
Yeah, like these people were like they had it down. Like Jeff the cop shows up. We've got 9:35.
We've got 85 seconds before the cop turns the corner. How much rock you want to buy?
But I'm walking past the strip mall, and there's 3 separate guys, all being arrested by 3 separate cops. So essentially the strip mall is full of cops arresting different guys for different drug offenses. That's how bad this neighborhood was for a while. I'm walking past, and these cops are in a parking lot less than 10 feet from me. Like, if I wanted to, I could spit at them.
I'm trying to visualize this fucking parking lot because I've been around.
When you get off Gateway, you turn left, it's that strip mall right there.
I'm guessing this was before it got so clean.
It got slightly more
clean. Because
clean.
I know that City Hall's there now, and they had to clean the whole fucking place up.
Yeah, it's slightly more clean now. But anyway, I'm walking. remember, there are 3 police officers all arresting people for drug offenses within 10 feet of me. Like, they can hear everything I say. If I was singing along to Journey, they could sing along with me because they know the words. And this guy walks up to me as I'm walking and goes, "Want to buy some crack?"
Just
Not even like, "Hey, brother, you want to walk down the street around the corner? I got something I want to give you." Or a present. Or any slang or anything. Just, "Hey, white boy, you want to buy crack?" And all 3 of the cops all turn their head and all look at him. And he looks at them with such a confidence that I cannot possess. And it went, "What? You already arrested them. You can't arrest 2 motherfuckers at the same time." And all 3 of these cops at the same time both went, like, all looked at each other like, "We can't?"
That's a rule?
Like, they were all confused. And then the guy
"Hey,
just...
sound logic, what do you want?"
And then the cop, like, put the guy in the car and said, "Hey, come here." He goes, "I ain't got no crack on me." I'm like, why is he trying to sell crack to me? Because he knew the system, so he didn't have the crack, someone else did. So he was completely fine to walk around like, "Anyone want crack? Anyone want crack?" Because you can't get arrested for asking if people want crack.
You have to get arrested for the transaction.
You either have to get arrested for the transaction or having the crack. So just like, this confidence, "Hey, fucker, you want some crack? We'll meet up later." And this cop is just, "Well, fuck, what am I going to do about this?"
I love the idea of these in the back of the fucking car. It's like, how did I end up here?
Like,
Ain't that some
getting
shit?
fingerprinted. Like, "I'm pretty sure you can't do this."
I'm pretty sure I did nothing wrong.
Like,
You can't arrest 2 motherfuckers at once.
like, it's a great line. And like,
I don't have anything like that. I wish I did. That's great.
the other one is like, the other one that remembers in my head is just like, I lived in an apartment that was a lot like the one I live in now. It's all brand new. Like, it's maybe at max 3 years old. So everything's fobs and like, you need specific keys to get into specific areas. Like, I have 4 keys just for my apartment. There's one for the mailbox, one for the gym. There's a fob to get into the main door. You need a key to get into the stairwell and out of the stairwell. Like, it's fucking
That's
weird.
gotta suck.
It's weird. And there's a specific fob to get in the building, and then I also need a separate fob to get a car in. Like, it's ridiculous. I need, like, shit tons of things. Like, my pocket's full of keys and fobs. And I was the same thing, same place. And I used to, because I lived on the 3rd floor, or 2nd floor. And it was easier to go through the building, to go out the back of it, and go out through a side door, and go up that side door. Because it went beside my apartment. It was like 5 minutes quicker than weaving through the maze of the building. So I go through the building, and I come out, and there's a guy, there's cameras everywhere, not even kind of hiding it. Just sitting with his, like, one leg out.
Finish the story.
I finished the story. One leg out, one leg crossed, and he's doing crack. And he's sitting like you would assume, like, Tom Sawyer to sit when he's like, he's just cockily doing crack where he's lining up, and he looks at me like, "What?" And at that point, because these doors only open one way, out, this guy who is my neighbor, who's about 6'3", 300 pounds, like, he's a big dude. He comes through the door, and it doesn't open because this guy is leaned up against the door. So this big guy in his man-animal head, instead of going, "Well, this door doesn't open, I might as well not go through," goes, "I bet you if I kick this as hard as I can, it'll open." This guy's doing crack, the door doesn't, like, just moves him. As he's doing crack, he's like, "Yeah, I'm moving around and shit." And he just gets the door kicked into him and smashes his head against the brick wall and breaks his crack pipe. And I was just like,
"This is your fault."
and I'm like, what am I watching? And then, like, the guy gets outside, and they start having a fight about whose fault it is. The big guy's like, you were blocking the door, and the crack guy's just mad that he broke crack. Like, he's not even mad that he got his face fucked up and he's bleeding. He's just mad that there was, like, "I need crack."
I needed crack.
Are you gonna
took it from me.
Are you gonna pay me back for said crack?
All right, that was time. So let's see if we can work our way back and figure out how did we get here.
Where did we start?
I can't talk about where we started.
I don't even know where we started.
Okay, let's start working our way back. So we went from crack to all the cops going around. The crackheads knew the way that the cops worked.
Yeah.
We work our way back from that to How the fuck did we get there?
How do I get to crack? How do we get top to start? Introvert.
The niceties of people helping you with garbage.
And I was weirded out by that because I've never had
weirded
that.
out.
I grew up in horrible places my entire life.
How
do we get to nice people?
I'm trying to figure out how we got from Gary Busey to nice people. Because I can get to Gary Busey. I can't.
We can kind of work our way back through movies because for some reason we were talking about movies a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we got from dildo belly button to movies.
Dildo belly button. I got nothing for that. How did we get from dildo belly buttons to talking about Total Recall? Hold on. How the fuck did we get from dildo belly buttons to talking about Total Recall?
I have no idea. Dildo belly button sounds like something completely different than getting fucked by a dildo in your belly button. Which we didn't go
belly button. Would it be belly button dildos?
It just sounds weird because it sounds like
I really thought it was going to be a
small. It sounds like a dildo
one.
that looks like
it was going to be a small one.
It sounds like a dildo
like
that's shaped like a belly button.
And his belly button looked like a big wet asshole by the time he was done. By the time, like the second.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, no, we're done with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
I have two huge gaps.
I have no idea how the hell we got here.
I don't know how we got Total Recall to continuity errors. I remember continuity errors.
Different character. I got nothing.
Well,
yeah, and that was that's a show.
What are we calling this?
I'll figure it out later in post.
Well, it'll be in the title.
It'll be in the title. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next time.
Yeah.
My name's Mouse.
I'm Creep.
See you later.